Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Like that would be probably also considered racist now,
What?
because pretty much everything is.
Wait, you telling me everybody was kung fu fighting is now racist?
I mean, what do you think? Sorry, I'm
I
adjusting my
just think
camera a little
everybody
bit.
was kung fu fighting.
I mean, especially with like the black on Asian crime since the COVID pandemic. I think that
Yes.
maybe.
Yes.
Anyway, welcome everybody to another episode of Hanging with Old Lou. I am, as always, your host, Butt Cheeks Mikowski, and to the left of my Old Lou. Old Lou, what's happening? What's good, brother?
None much but cheek McCracken. None much.
Now it sounds like you're really being racist. Call me Butt Cheeks McCracker.
Butt cheeks McCracker. How you doing today, sir?
Oh,
Is it nice and warm where you at, or is it
oh.
cold
Well,
with a slightly go ahead.
I am wearing a t-shirt, but I should have a sweatshirt on, but this room, my office, for whatever the fuck reason, this year has been like the warmest room in the house, and uh, I think it's because I kicked the cats out of here, and so in order to do that, I need to keep the door closed.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
only difference. Like I've been having a really hard time regulating the temperature in here. Sometimes when we do a
Right.
podcast, I'm like dying. I'm so hot
Guess what?
because the rest of the house is, like heat. Fuck, dude, heat is expensive. I know we talked about that on the last podcast, and I won't
Yeah.
go back into it. But we've been keeping our house at 65, and it's like, yesterday, in the last 2 days, we've had like a 45-degree temperature swing. So it was like -1 on Friday, and then Saturday it got up to about 40. So like today it was snowing a little bit this morning, not very much, but the temperature's going like
Right.
this, and so I was downstairs like 5 minutes ago. The front fucking door's open, and you're just like, what?
Ain't nothing like walking down the stairs and seeing your front door open and like nobody's around and shit. You're like, why is my front door wide open? And
Do I need to go find my gun real quick?
yeah, exactly.
Or uh, but
you,
anyway,
you just stand there and look around. You're like, is anybody in here? Hello? Anybody?
anyway, as far as we know, our podcast is still up on Spotify and YouTube and Apple. We haven't lost any of our sponsors either because we don't have any. But
We had a meeting with them yesterday.
yep.
They said they were fully behind us and they'll keep funding us.
Which the amount of times that you've said a certain word on this podcast,
Nigger.
I mean, pretty soon it's going to be racist for me to be in the same room as someone using that word. Like I just by
I was
default,
just
I'm
gonna
just
say,
going to be like, "Oh, you were laughing." Like they just see my face, I'm laughing, and you're just saying it, and I'm laughing, and like,
yeah.
that should be enough. But so,
They
no, finish your thought.
I was gonna say they already kind of did that with this one comedian in England. Like this one guy, he said, I guess, a real racist joke, and people kind of laughed at it in the audience. And then the guy stood up and just started to berate these people, like, hey, you shouldn't be laughing at that. That's extremely racist. And I'm like, the fuck, motherfucker? It's a comedy goddamn show. What the fuck? Like, comedy is the one thing that is off limits, I think. As in to censor. I always thought comedy should be the one thing that you shouldn't fucking censor. because you just, stand up to their thing. I mean, that's what fucking Lenny Bruce fought for.
Well, we've talked about it before, dude, that like Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, man, go back and watch some of their fucking specials. It's fucking, what's his name? Sam Kinison. Like, these guys said some fucking outrageous things. It's like, Kevin Hart got in trouble, right? For some shit that he had said. And it's like, I think that, I think that people should be allowed to express themselves in what other fucked up, whether it's trying to be funny or they're not trying to be funny and they're serious about their racism and whatnot. I think that people should be allowed to express them. Whoopi fucking Goldberg said that the Holocaust was just about white people killing white people. How do you think that fucking makes me feel? It doesn't make me feel fucking great. The same week that they're removing books on the Holocaust in schools. Like, this is active whitewashing of a horrific event that happened less than 100 years ago to the Jewish people, historically oppressed and targeted for racist, shit from fucking time began, Like,
I tell people, I'm like, it's the Jewish slaves were the ones that fucking built the pyramids. It wasn't people from the middle of
Moses,
Africa.
Pharaoh, let my people fucking go, bitch. That's probably how he said it, too.
Bitch. Yeah, that's probably how he did say it. Let my people go, bitch. Pharaoh ain't nothing but a motherfucker.
Oh, man. But, that was probably the best thing to temporarily happen to Joe Rogan was Whoopi Goldberg saying some crazy racist shit on The View. And then immediately videos start surfacing of him using that word. And, I think that out of context, but let's face it, that he did say it. It's not like they're like deep fakes or whatever, like they're making it up or whatnot.
Yeah.
He did say it, and I had heard some of those podcasts, so I knew it was out there,
right.
I'd heard it, and that but I was talking with my wife like the last couple of days, and I was just like, thinking about like, the outrage of, he said that 13 years ago or something like that. Well, I don't know how long it's been. More than 10 years, right?
Right.
And it's just like, so what, are you that, like, and I want kind of you answer it from your perspective, and then you can answer it from a greater cultural perspective. Do people really think that in the history of another person's life, they haven't said something racist or that would be perceived racist in the greater future? Like, is that, do we really think that? Because I don't think that, but I wonder what your perspective is on it.
No, I think it's more or less the woke machine is the one that's actually carrying that shit out. Because, I mean, honestly, we've talked about it. We know it. I mean, I've always said that, if you go to a high school reunion and somebody says you're just the same way that you were back then you should tell them to fuck off, because you want to be able to let yourself know that you've grown. And if the motherfuckers back then said nigger all that time, all right, so you fucking grew out of it, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's no skin off. It should be no skin off anybody's goddamn nose. I mean, people are young. They're going to say shit. They're going to do shit,
Well, and he's a comedian. He's trying to be funny. I think one of the instances he's quoting rap lyrics, which is another thing, right? Like, Tupac said it was okay. Like, if you're a white guy, remember that interview with
I forget who it was. I almost said Martha Coon, but
she's the whitest lady in the world. She's red-haired. She's like see-through. She's so white. And Tupac is saying, no, say it. He's telling her say it. And she's like, you could tell that she just did not want to.
Yeah. I remember that. She was like, nigger. Oh yeah. I mean, as much as we keep saying that that word, that nigger has no tie, can't be bad, or everybody says it nowadays, and then they try to take it back. It's like, look, leave that fucking word alone. Just say it. We know where it came from, and it's done. Nobody's a slave anymore. I mean, we could. I mean, think about the word bitch. Now, I mean, that's come a long way from just somebody
Tabitha
saying it
Soren.
to people. That's who it was. Yep.
Tabitha Soren.
Yep. But like I said, bitch came
Yeah.
from a female dog, and it's worked its way into, calling a woman a bitch. To now, it's just a term of you being too scared or not, stepping up like you should. That's kind of basically what I feel when you call somebody a bitch now. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, uh, you're right. I mean, you know, I think that even bitch is even more of a word that offends greater amounts of people. 50% of the population are women, you know?
Yes. Yes.
So like
Yes.
if we want to talk about words and their impact, on the greatest grandest scale,
Hmm.
you know, sexist remarks, I don't know if it but it's definitely can be misogynistic for sure.
Oh, most
You know, like
definitely.
like that should be something that we might want to talk about,
Right.
Like uh but I just wonder, like, for you, like, if you heard, like, so you're not even in the same room, right? It's not like,
Right.
we're at a party and some rando white guy from across the room says, you know, that word, and then you overhear them, whatever, and you're
Yeah.
like, get your hackles up, or whatever, just, like, but you just hear like somebody else said it at some point in time somewhere. What do
Right.
you feel like? Like, what is your feelings? Because I've seen a lot of people who are like Rogan's friends, African American people who are his friends, like, express like some outrage. Like, I can't believe it.
Right.
Like the Rock, like, unfriended him or whatever. And it's just like,
Yeah.
uh,
That
you
is
know,
so fucking high schoolish. I'm gonna unfriend you.
like, I just wonder, like, does it hit you somewhere where you're just like, fuck, man, I hate that word and I hate it when people use it like that? Or is it just like, ah, water off a duck's back?
I was just gonna say, water off a duck's back for me. I mean, there's so much more things I think in the world that we could be more get mad about. More so than just language. And again,
Yeah.
that word, nigger, right now, it still holds what it meant for sure for a lot of people, for sure. It's just that it's just falling more and more into the mainstream, and I kind of look at it as by becoming more and more said that we're not giving it its same juice. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
that's something that our friend, uh, Jeff Dinsmore, would say, and I don't know if he still believes this or not. And it's not in the context of saying this word.
right,
It's more in the context of kind of a free speech perspective. Like, we should take the power out of words. Like, there are no
yeah,
words that should be powerful enough to, like, get us up in arms about X, Y, or Z.
true,
And again, I don't know if he still believes that. So I don't want to put words in his mouth, and certainly not about this particular word. But
right,
I think that, like, that's a pretty powerful statement. Like, words having that much power. The old adage, sticks and stones.
yes,
Sticks and stones, motherfucker. Like, those are the things that we should be talking about, like the actual uh, acts,
X, right,
rather than
mhm,
like words. Because yes, sometimes rhetoric can, incite people to violence. They can incite people to hatred. That's certainly the case. But
yeah,
until it does, then we should be like, I feel like we should kind of let things slide. I think you see a lot of that today in a lot of different words, like,
yeah,
we hear the term words are violence and silence is violence. And, it's like everything is violence except for violence,
everything.
you
Yeah,
know?
you're right on that. Yeah,
I, I just, you know, when I hear someone say a Jewish slur, I just kind of shake it off. Like
Yeah.
I dislike the Holocaust talk. I will say that it makes me angry when
Mhm.
I hear people like Whoopi Goldberg just put it in the perspective of, oh, it wasn't racist. It wasn't about race at all. It was just white people killing white people. Even
Mhm.
if that's
Yeah.
true, it still doesn't. It's still a horrific thing,
Yes.
right?
Oh,
Like,
yes.
how can you be that blasé about it? Like I don't
Hmm.
get that, and it makes me mad. It makes me mad that my ancestors, people who I never would have met or whatever, because that's where we came from. We came from,
Right.
that part of the world, kind of that near
Hmm.
Asia, uh, and who knows if I have family that were in the
Right.
Holocaust. I'm sure,
Right.
it was
Just
such
probably
a,
to say,
there
yep.
were so few people and there was so many of them exterminated that
Yep.
I'm sure we all have some relation there. 7 degrees of
Hmm.
Kevin Bacon, but the kosher kind of bacon. You
Yes.
know,
The culture.
but man, I'm rare form today.
That was that one, I'm gonna have to give you a dap on that one, motherfucker. That was good.
Boom.
Can
Uh,
bacon be kosher?
uh, that does make me angry. Like, not that people
Hmm.
deny it, or not that people like do a Hitler salute. That makes me a little scared when I see that,
Right.
because that means that you're crazy enough to do that in public. What else are you going to do? That's
Dude,
more of
what?
it.
Yeah.
It's like the act of the salute. It's not the salute. It's that you know how wrong it is and you're doing it, which means
And you
that
still do
you're probably capable of doing a lot of things that the rest of us don't want you to do.
that are behind the curtains. Yes, exactly, exactly. And I think that's where it will come down. And that's what like when I hear like somebody will say nigger or stuff like that, I usually will get more like to hear what the context is, how
Yeah.
their voice sounds and this and that.
Yeah.
And even if we're arguing, even if I'm arguing or I hear people arguing, and they throw that word out quickly. They'll you fuck you nigger, and it's like you
Yeah.
just kind of look at them like you're like, okay, man, look, come on,
Yeah.
now I'm not even a man. I'm just you're just kind
Yeah.
of like looking at him like you're just trying to get me so mad, but for no reason. And then
Right.
that would
Right.
come to where people say, and I think it was Jim Rogan actually I was listening to when he says like to say, oh, I'm not a racist. That
Right.
means that you
It's like,
already went too far.
right. Well, it's the same thing. I'm not an alcoholic, but
But
maybe if that phrase enters your mind, maybe put down the drink.
just put it
And
down.
uh, uh, it's been for him. Like these types of things. Like, let's face it, he's not in under a certain liberal woke audience. He
Right.
is persona non grata and has been for quite a long time. I've been
Mm-hmm.
listening to Joe Rogan's podcast probably for 7 or 8 years
Yeah.
on the
Yes. Yes.
regular.
Mm-hmm.
And his is one of the podcast, even though I am a podcaster myself, I listen
That you are.
to, uh, maybe 3 podcasts pretty religiously. His, a news one called Breaking Points, and then I'll tune into most episodes of this weed podcast called
Oh.
Growcast,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is a really good show. Like, it's definitely the best weed podcast
Right
that
out
I've
there.
ever heard. Yeah,
And what's the name of it again? Weedcast?
Growcast,
Oh, Growcast. Shout out to Growcast. We hear you're one of the best out there. So, hey,
in my
any of y'all
opinion.
get a chance, take a look at him.
In my opinion, it's funny because the guy who hosts it is obviously really high, and sometimes he'll go, shit, I'm too high. I forgot what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And you'll just be like, "Oh my god!" But it's funny because it's a really good podcast. Or you'll just hear a bong hit in the background. It's just like,
Speaking of
oh.
which,
um, and then I'll listen to this guy. Dr. Andrew Huberman. He's a Stanford neurobiologist and ophthalmologist, I think, and he does really interesting stuff with like body optimization and stuff, like shit that I'm interested in only because I'm older now, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, you're
it's
older now, so it's no longer listening to the other shit. You listen up to the adult shit, like it's like with drinking. You used to drink that wild turkey and all that shit. Now you get older, you don't fuck with that at all.
I
You're
don't
like, if
get
it
it.
ain't older than 12 years, it's nothing.
I don't get it. I saw somebody with one of the handled jugs of
Yeah.
black velvet,
Oh,
and then a 12 pack of jumbo 7-Ups.
oh my God.
And I was just looking at this. This person was overweight and not very healthy and not long for this life. But I was like,
Yeah.
bro, you're at least 35. Like, you got to put that shit down, motherfucker.
I was just. There comes a time in
Oh my
every adult
God.
life when you gotta push
I
up
mean,
and say, "Fuck this shit."
you want to keep me from drinking? Stock my liquor cabinet with Jim Beam, Black
Oh,
Velvet, Seagrams. Like, I won't touch a drop of that shit. You can
exactly.
come to my
That will
house
age.
10 years from now.
I was gonna say that'll age nicely, and still won't know how nicely it aged because I won't open that motherfucker up. Yeah.
No, I went to visit my mom uh,
Mm.
over like Thanksgiving,
Oh, right, right,
and
right.
uh, the last day I was there, I was getting some Carolina barbecue,
Mm.
and I was like, man, I want some liquor. I want to drink some
Yeah.
liquor with his barbecue, man. Fuck that, you know?
That's how it's
Because
supposed
you
to
got to
be.
get your cup on, eating like, black eyed peas and collard greens. And,
Oh,
I
school
love
bread.
Carolina barbecue is so good because it's vinegary. I love it. Their slaw is fucking off the hook. And I'm like, that says liquor to me. It was a nice
That.
day. And I was just like, we're doing this. And so I go into my mom's cabinets. My mom's like, oh, I've got, Jesus, what is that sweet shit? Some kind of like peach schnapps. And then
Oh
like,
God. Yeah.
what's
Like.
that? What's that Brothers brandy? You know what I'm talking about? It comes in like a
Oh
round,
yeah.
and it's
Yes.
just,
Yes. Yes.
like, I'm just like looking at her like, whoa, this is one way
Yeah.
to keep me from drinking, Mom. I ain't touching this stuff. Where's the closest liquor store? And South
Yeah.
Carolina is one of those states where you have to buy it from a state store. And
Oh
so it was
damn.
Sunday, and I'm like,
Oh, I was just gonna
uh,
ask you, was it Sunday, motherfucker? Doesn't it?
and
Don't
I
they
was just
stop
like,
selling?
yeah. So I had to go up. I had to go into North Carolina to get it. So
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. I know your ass had to go to another state.
I knew. I was just like, once you get it in your mind, you're like, I'm having a liquor drink.
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of that, I'm talking so much about liquor drinks. I'm about ready. Yeah, it's like,
You
did you
think?
ever hear that story? It's coincidentally a story that Joe Rogan told on his podcast about Norm Macdonald. He met him on a plane one time, and they're sitting next to each other. And then,
Right.
Rogan was like, man, you're looking really good, looking really healthy. And then Norm was like, yeah, I quit smoking and all this. And he spent the rest of the time talking about how great he felt. He's never going back to cigarettes, blah, 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 blah. They get off the plane and kind of go their separate ways. And then he sees him outside the airport. And he's running down to get outside with a cigarette in his mouth. And Rogan catches up to him as he's lighting up, and he's like, bro, you quit smoking. What are you doing? He's like, dude, talking so much about smoking wanted me to have a cigarette. Oh,
He talked
so,
himself back into it.
oh my God.
Gots to have it.
Dude.
That is hilarious. Oh God. Yeah, I'm
So,
trying to think. I've been had a hunkering to have a dip, and I would say almost fucking 10 years now. I mean, like I don't have the urge
yeah.
and all that. If I but the funny thing is like I'll dream that I'm dipping, and I'll just wake up like gagging, like
Yeah,
yeah.
dude. I
It's just
saw I saw a gentleman that I know quite well, but I didn't know he dipped, and he's older than we are. I
right.
think. I mean, he looks older than we are. I'll just say that. And then I saw him. I was chatting with him, and then as he was leaving, he pulled out a can of dip to dip, and I was just like, oh, I,
Yeah,
like, oh my
yeah,
god, you know, I probably tried dipping. Remember the Skull Bandits?
yep,
A
yep,
couple of my
yeah.
friends, I hung out with some dirt bags, and a couple of my friends were like into it. I'm sure that I tried it. Um,
Oh yeah,
but you know, I don't remember. But that's honestly, that's my biggest fear for my children is them getting that habit. Any
mm,
habit really, but
right,
like
right.
tobacco, man, that's guaranteed to fucking kill you. That's
Yeah, it's hard to get that
guaranteed.
monkey off your back for sure.
Yeah, and uh, drugs, yeah, definitely, but like, my kids don't have trauma in their lives. We're still together,
Right.
my wife and I. Um, all the signs say they'll be okay. Like
They'll
statistically, they'll be
they'll
fine,
smoke some pot. But yeah,
even if they do experiment,
yeah,
and
hmm
uh, same with alcohol. It's like, you know,
yeah,
uh, it's funny for New Year's, I gave them each a little like, because I want to have these conversations ongoing, and so I
right.
gave them each like a tiny bit of champagne, you know,
A
and then the
little
very
bubbly.
like 2 or 3 days later, we were at school with my youngest, and in front of his teacher, he goes, "Hey, Dad, tonight can we have some more New Year's juice?"
Oh.
And I just looked at my
Thoughts of
teacher, and she
Michael
just kind of
Jackson
looked at
pops up.
me, and I was like, yeah, I mean, you know, how do you say you how do you say, tell me you're an alcoholic without telling me you're an alcoholic?
Alcoholic.
And I just looked at it and I was like, yeah, I let them have a sip of champagne on New Year's.
Yeah, I
You
let them
know,
have a snort or two. They're all right.
well, I mean, if you're like I am, I've kind of I don't really drink any kind of brown liquor on very occasion. Like I'll buy something really nice, like
Right.
I'll buy a really nice bottle of Basil Hayden. Say that's my
Ooh.
go-to, but that's
Mm-hmm.
like a $50 bottle, and
Ooh,
so
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and sometimes I don't sip softly. Sometimes I drink. You know,
I know. Sip. What is this concept called sipping?
I mean, I'm happy to sip. Have a drink or two, but then some days, like that day at my mom's house, I was like, nah, we're sitting
Hmm.
down with a cup, you know,
Up.
filling it with ice,
A
cutting it with some
styrofoam
water,
cup.
and then we're gonna go and eat
Yeah.
barbecue, and then I'm gonna sleep so good. Wake up in the morning, go to the airport, and fly home. That was my plan. I was
Ooh,
like, you know,
that's a beautiful plan right there.
it was a very nice meal and a very nice evening. I will tell you that.
It sounds like it. It sounds like it. I'm glad. Yeah.
And
I know.
uh,
That happened to me, like with the telling of the teacher, like in front. That happened to me too with my oldest. She was in elementary, and and they were talking about it, medications. And then my daughter said, she was like, "Yeah, my daddy smokes his medication."
yeah, I remember that.
The teacher's like, "Yeah, just ask your dad not to smoke it around you."
Too late.
Yeah, I'm like, what? How do you think she knows I smoke my medication?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But to put the Rogan stuff to bed, like I was listening to his latest podcast. You know how he's got like miles and miles of advertisements, and
Yeah,
now he only had one. You know, and I was like, it was Athletic Greens, which we
yeah,
both take, and I was like,
yep.
yeah, I mean, to me, if there was one supplement, I was talking about a little bit about what I do with my body to help
Hmm.
kind of make it feel young and stuff. And I'm not to brag, but me with my shirt off is a sight to be seen. Like
Mm.
I'm a thin, fit, muscular man. Like I've got veins going up like my ab line.
Damn, look at you. And I'm at the other spectrum of that scale.
But my body looks the best that it's ever looked. That's what my wife was saying to me too, because I was like, "Holy shit! You know, look at my body. It looks, I work out every day. I do
He said,
yoga.
"Look at me."
I do jujitsu. I do all these things." But I was just like, "Look," and she's like, "I know your body looks better than it ever has." And I'm 47 years old. But I think a big part of that is because I take a shit ton of supplements. Take
Mm.
my athletic greens. I take, all these, every multivitamin you can think of, fish oil, excuse me,
I do it all.
all this kind of stuff. I probably swallow about, like 8 to 10 pills. No, more than
Mhm.
that, actually, probably like
Damn.
15 to 16 pills a day, plus the athletic greens, plus all these other supplements that go in water and whatnot. And, all of those are great. But if I just had to boil it down to one, it would be athletic greens. If there's only
Green.
one thing that I could take, it would be that one. I
Hmm.
started taking this stuff. I think I've talked about in the podcast, and if I have, I apologize. If you fast forward 20 seconds, and we'll be talking about dicks again.
Not just our dicks either.
um, uh, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was taking this thing called Tungat Ali, and what it
Um,
does, Tungat Ali.
right. Sounds
Um,
like a prize fighter.
yeah, like some never before heard of, Vietnamese
Yeah.
prize fighter. He's like
Came out of the bush.
he's a bantamweight and he's got a dynamite left hook.
Yeah, bantamweight.
um,
Oh, yeah.
uh, but what it does is stimulate your hypothalamus to uh, tell your in men testicles and in women ovaries to
Mm,
produce extra testosterone or estrogen.
mm,
And
okay.
so I've been taking that for about probably 3 or 4 months.
Mm,
And I know for me, I don't know about for anybody else, but there will be times during the week, and a lot of times it'd be like if I worked out hard or I had somehow exerted myself in some way and then
right.
gone to go say do jujitsu or move something heavy or whatever, that my body would feel like it was made out of rubber bands. Like I would just feel like I had nothing in me. You know, like
Gotcha.
like my body would just physically just be like, "Fuck this, I can't do it. I'm done."
Yeah.
Ever
Gotcha.
since I've started taking that, I haven't felt that feeling.
Mm,
And you can tell physically on my so it's not like I'm taking hormones, but I'm
right.
stimulating my body to produce more testosterone.
Its own
And
testosterone. Right. Right.
yeah, and you can tell a difference with my body, the way my body looks like over these last months and stuff. So I take a few other
Damn.
things, but uh, you know, anyway, I don't even know how we got on this. So anyway, back to dicks.
And not just her own.
uh, yeah, I think that I think that the whole stuff about COVID,
Mm,
that's was the original reason of Rogan's, the ire that
right.
how dare you not say exactly what's going on with COVID. And the thing about COVID is we know that everyone has lied to us
Yes.
or been
Yes.
grossly incompetent. We're 2 years into this thing,
Yes.
and we still
Mm-hmm.
people you ask like the government, like, what the fuck are we doing? Why aren't we testing people? Why aren't tests available? Why, what about masks and what about this? And remember, take the vaccine. 2 weeks to stop the spread. Take the vaccine and life will go back to normal. And it's just
Right.
like all these things that just have turned out to be untrue. Like patently
Big time.
false. And to like, it definitely came from a bat. Like, yeah, that made a really great South Park episode, but
That's a good one. I like that.
holy cow, like they outdid themselves with that one.
Yeah. That,
Like, that one was like, I had to walk out of the room. I was cringing so much and laughing so hard that I had to keep walking out of the room. It's like one of those moments on a reality show where you see someone just like making the biggest fool of themselves, and you're just like, oh my God, this is a train wreck. I can't stop watching, but I gotta walk away. I can't stop watching.
I gotta walk away for 2 seconds just to get my bearings on it.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I know. Ooh.
Yeah, it's something else, but yeah, I mean, but the thing is we started talking about comedians and like how there shouldn't be things that are off limits if it's funny. So. If it's funny, yeah. It shouldn't be off limits. But the thing is like at the bottom, at the end of the day, he's had some really shitty guests on that have said some really shitty lies.
Yeah.
And, but in his defense, he's always come back and said, hey, I was wrong there, or I should have fact checked this better, or whatever.
Yeah.
But then
he does own up to his mistakes for sure.
But then he goes and has Alex Jones on 5 times, and you're just like, okay, like I understand. I'm sure that podcast is probably one of your most downloaded podcasts every time you have him on. But like, yeah, he's been right about some things, like the interdimensional child molesters and, lizard people and all that. But like, he said some things that like we really, 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 really should be like, like, I don't want to, even if I'm friends with him in private, I don't want to give him a place where he can say something like that in the future, right? We were talking about the guy who does the Nazi salute. It's the same thing. It's like, what else is rattling around in that brain? Like the Sandy Hook thing is what I'm thinking of. Like, okay, so you said that. What else is next? What's next here?
Yeah. I mean, and as soon as he started doing that, especially with the Sandy Hook, I was like, I could not. I mean, I just try to put myself in those parents' places, spots, and it's just like, you've got to be fucking shitting me, dude. You really? Oh man.
Yep.
I mean, and he got sued over that though, didn't he?
He got sued and lost. Yeah. But like, still, like that doesn't stop the crazy maniac from showing up at parents' houses with guns, demanding that they are accusing them of being feds or frauds or whatever. Like, it doesn't stop that shit from happening. And this is what we're talking about with free speech. Like, I believe everything should be on the table until you incite somebody to go do something like that. Right?
That's
like
when
they
you
talk
draw the line.
about Trump. We got to march on Washington and show them that we got to be tough. Okay, well, you can say that, and then once people start doing it, man, you fucked up. You incited.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's you're right. And that's what we've been talking about, is that free speech. I mean, we talk about it, but it's hard for motherfuckers to withstand it. I mean, we say the quote all the time, free speech is here for not the speech you love, but for the speech you hate.
Right.
And, and it's really fucking true on that. Like, we sit there, like, we just talked about Alex Jones to, what's the far leftist one? I forget. Jesus Christ. Whatever.
Rachel Maddow.
Yeah. Rachel Maddow. There you go. Yeah. I mean, those are two real far extremes, excuse me. And it's just out there. So sometimes I just don't know what motherfuckers are thinking. I really don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm just like, motherfucker, you got to be kidding me with this shit. I
Yeah.
mean, really, and I think you said it too. Like, I think people are just trying to incite people now. I mean, it's really, I mean, Republican is a dirty word. So is Democrat. Those
Yeah.
things are two dirty words now. I mean, you say it, it's like cursing. It's like saying nigger. Like, hey, you're a Democrat. You're a Republican. Da da da. And
Yeah.
motherfuckers get mad about it.
And you're absolutely right. Like, I really hesitate to label myself in a political way because
Mm-hmm.
I don't want everything else to go sideways or to
Yes.
be presumpted upon. Oh, well,
Mm-hmm.
he's a fucking he's from fucking California, liberal ass motherfucker. Of course he said that. And I
Yeah.
bet all these other things too,
Exactly.
when it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, no, uh, because I've gotten that in the reverse from some of our
Mm-hmm.
friends in California, like, oh, you're fucking a Trumper.
Yeah.
And like, oh, I bet you think that it's okay. The Texas abortion law is cool. Like, what?
What?
No,
Yeah. Like
no. I just posted a video of me target practicing shooting a pistol because I enjoy it. That's it.
right.
That's all I
Exactly.
did. I didn't, and like, just because of my geographic location and the fact that I had a
Yep.
firearm in my hand and
Mm-hmm.
posted it on social media, you can see that I'm target practicing. Wouldn't you rather me target practice, or would you rather me not know how to use the fucking
There you
thing?
go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Practice
or,
makes
or
perfect now. God damn
or
it.
or I take a picture of me duck hunting. Like,
Right.
now, oh, you're what are you? Have you joined the militia? Like, no, I just enjoy hunting. Like, I'm still Jenny from the block, man. Like, I used to
Exactly.
have a little, now I have a lot. Fuck.
I just get my food at the source now. God damn it. That's all I'm doing.
Dude, I had a neighbor kid over earlier today,
Mm.
and I was making kombucha. So I make my own
Mm.
kombucha, and I was making the tea because I just juiced. I had a sack of apples that were going soft, and so I juiced them, and then I'm making apple ginger kombucha this batch.
Oh, that's gonna be delicious. Yes. Mm.
And oh, dude, my kombucha is lit. It's so good, and it's not like sweet. Like a lot of the kombuchas,
Right.
like mine is very carbonated, and it's got a tang to it. Like, it tickles your tongue. My
Oh, okay.
youngest kid fucking loves it.
Here you go.
And I don't. Anyway, so
Yeah.
he was commenting. He was in the kitchen with me, and he was commenting. And he's like, "You guys make so much stuff where other people just go to the store and buy it. Like, we bake our own
Right.
bread. We make. We love to cook. We can
Yeah.
we can vegetables from the garden, all that kind of stuff." And he's like, everybody else that I've ever known just goes to the store and buy the stuff. And I was just like, wow, it makes me proud, but it makes me a little
Proud.
sad
Yeah.
too.
I was gonna say that should make your chest stick out a little bit right there. I mean, we talked about it too many times, just how great it is having your own shit, that you
Yeah.
grew, that you
Yep.
can just walk out the back, grab it, clean it all. I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
it's all and it's cheaper. I mean, I keep
Oh,
trying to tell people it's just cheaper. I
yeah.
mean, we talk about it all the time on the show, just about us growing our own pot, how much
Yep.
money we've saved on that. Now you talk about saving on your heads of lettuce,
Yep.
green beans,
Yep.
what,
Yep.
all the shit that you can grow out there, and it's
Uh,
just it's lovely.
100%. And the thing that I find about it, it's a bit of work. I mean, let's be honest. Growing enough
Yeah,
food that you have it still in January or February, it's a
right.
work. Let's face it.
It
I
is.
spend during the late summers. I probably spend 20 hours
Mm,
harvesting, fertilizing, watering,
yeah,
canning, preparing, freezing, all that stuff. I spend probably the month of, you know, mid September to kind of late
yeah.
October. I'm
October.
spending 20
Mhm.
hours a week doing that.
Out
But,
there, yeah, but it pays off. I mean, it
but,
pays.
bro, when I made peach cobbler maybe 2 weeks
Mm,
ago or something, homemade
Uh,
biscuits, all that shit.
oh, yes,
And I
yes.
opened up that mason jar full of canned peaches. I was,
Right?
it was July again, man. It was, and I was just like, yeah,
I heard that.
it's, opening up a mason jar of tomatoes when you're going to make pizza in the middle of winter and it's snowing outside. Bro, I'm sorry, you can't buy that shit. You can't buy
No,
that.
no, no, you can't buy it. And the best other thing is you don't have to leave the warm house in the cold in December. You know?
Dude. Well,
See?
it's so funny because uh, our freezer is in the garage and it's so
Uh-huh.
cold here most of the time that I could open up my freezer and it would make the garage warmer. Here, I gotta go get a refill. I'll be right back.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Get yourself a nice little refill.
If it
Oh
looks
shit!
like
What?
I'm limping, I am. Uh, I
Oh,
took I took oh dude, I took my kids to go see the Spider-Man movie,
oh, oh,
and uh, then we went out to eat, and we just had a really nice day last Sunday. And then I came
nice.
home and I was fooling around with them, and they jumped on my knee, so my surgically repaired knee,
Oh,
and it's swollen. It's like the size of a grapefruit. It looks all jacked up, but it's just like if I sit if I sit for a long time or lay down, it
right.
just gets really stiff. But
Oh,
uh, um, if I once I start moving around, it's okay. Like I'm still doing jujitsu and
right,
working
right,
out and all that, but like um, I'm not. It's just stiff and a little painful right where it's been surgically repaired,
I
which
bet.
isn't great, because
Hmm.
that could mean that I have re-damaged my knee,
I was just gonna say, did nothing pop,
which
nothing
I
crinkled?
don't I don't want to have another knee surgery, So I'm a little
No.
nervous about that, but
Yeah,
it's not painful like before I got it repaired last year, or I guess last year. Before I got it
yeah,
repaired last year, it was painful to touch the side of my knee, like it hurt, like if
right.
I one of the kids grabbed me or I'm doing jujitsu, somebody's passing my guard, it would be very painful. But it's
Oh,
not
God.
painful to the touch, but that's where it hurts. That's where it's like stiff
Right.
and it's swollen just like it was when I got surgery. And so I'm just
Mm,
like, please, God, no, please,
yeah.
like I don't. The surgery was easy. I just am done with hospitals. Between me and my son this year or this
Yeah.
past
Yeah.
12 months, I'm just fucking done with doctors. I mean, dude, we're in so much medical bill debt right now. I'm
Yeah.
paying off three surgeries or three
Oh, damn.
hospitalizations, excuse me, two for me,
Oh,
one for Dashel,
damn it.
and yeah, it's
Yeah, I know how. Yeah, yeah. I mean, ooh, I know those medical bills are pain. Man, I mean, excuse the pun, but pain in the ass. I mean, I
yeah,
was
or in the
just
knee.
checking over. I was just checking over and talking with my wife. And right quick, we'll just all give a nice little drinky drink salute to my father-in-law. We'll wish him all the best. Da da da. Rest in peace. All of that.
Well, he's
So
in a
yeah.
better
So we.
place.
Hmm. So, she was looking, and she's one of his hospital stays was like 50 grand for like 2 days or something like that.
I
It's
know.
just yeah, you're just sitting there looking at it like, how the hell does it, and why the fuck did they give him a toothbrush? Because the motherfucker didn't need a toothbrush. He barely has any teeth. What the fuck?
Thank you, thank you.
You know?
Like you look through the itemized bill, like I think I've talked about before on the podcast about how much it costs to have a baby,
Yeah.
a
Uh,
natural birth, not a
mhm,
C-section, not like a baby
mhm.
who's needs some kind of critical care, just a normal birth that women have been doing since the beginning of time.
Beginning.
It costs more than 70 grand to have a baby.
Jesus
You look through
Christ.
the line items, prenatal vitamin, $27. And you're like, bitch,
Yeah.
she's having the baby right now. It's too late. This vitamin ain't going to help anybody
Yeah.
except for maybe make her constipated.
I'm like, yeah, I just got expensive pee. That's all you get out of it.
Dude. And fuck, my pee is super expensive. Speaking of all the supplements I take.
Such a take. Yeah, but you ain't getting boosted up the ass by the hospital though.
No. I'm choosing to that. But yeah, it's like, and then here's the thing, right? Like, these are the real problems of the world, right? That people go bankrupt because they got sick, or their kid got sick,
Yes, we were
or they
talking
got
about it.
hurt at work.
Yes,
I
and
would
they
just
come and put a lien on your house and shit like that too. Like if you can't pay your bill, they come out of the woodworks on your ass.
I know, because for my emergency stay, I mean,
Right.
they call me every fucking month. Like, where's your payment? And I'm like, can't we set this up on auto pay? Like,
Yeah.
come on, like, but like, I was talking with someone this week about their kid who ended up, he got hurt on the job. I'm not going to say what the job is or anything. And then that thing has followed him around for the rest of his life. And now because of it, he's been addicted to various medications, had bouts of homelessness, and it's just mentally messed up. And this is because of something that happened at work. Like, these are the things we should be fixing. Like, there should no way that somebody gets hurt on the job and it ruins the rest of their life, or somebody's kid gets sick, or that kid gets diagnosed with diabetes. I was talking with two people this week that both of their kids have been, two separate people, both kids diagnosed with diabetes,
Damn.
Why did the picture get all weird? Is the picture weird on yours?
A tad bit.
What the hell happened?
Yeah, you got a little while longer, right? Then you get elongated.
Let's try this again.
Bing. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm cockeyed. Hey, there you are. What's happening?
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Hi.
Welcome to my podcast that I tell Lou to shut up, and it's all about me now.
Please, sir, tell us about yourself. Oh, here I am. Hey,
it's still a little weird, but
yeah, it's all right. If
most
it ain't a little
people
weird,
listen to this podcast and do not watch it on YouTube.
Yes. As we can tell by as many people that subscribe to our channel. Yes.
I mean, I do appreciate hundreds of downloads on the just the audio version.
Right.
Help a brother out.
Yes.
Like, even just put it on in the background, because
just put it.
And
that's what I keep telling people.
Our smiling faces.
Just have us in the background. Just when you go to sleep at night, just download it, let it run through. When you're charging your phone, turn it on, walk away from it. That just helps us out.
But you know what I just thought, dude? Why would someone want to sit and watch our two stupid faces talking when they could just go outside and take a walk and listen to our two stupid faces talking?
Well, then again, we have some shut-ins, I'm sure, that listen to our show and like to see us on, Come on, let's, inquiring minds want to see.
Don't be that curious.
And see the shitty video quality from my end.
It's actually not terrible today.
Oh,
You've only frozen a couple times.
Oh, okay. Right on. Well, hey, shit. I know I was getting a lot of work.
Speaking
yesterday,
of,
actually, a few people said a shout out to you, to say hello to you. They ain't talked to you in a while. Like Rafael and people from our little football fantasy football league that you used to win every year and pay for about everybody's entrance fee.
Hey man, I just kept saying stop putting me in. I'm sure it's not fun for you guys to just play against my auto team every week and then you guys all lose to me.
And lose.
Just take me out. Take me out. I'm fine with it. I'm totally fine with it. You
I know
know,
somebody
like
was saying that to me. I was like, and I
the
looked at,
first the I've watched two football games this year. Three. I watched one with you. That's right. I
yep,
watched the
yep, yep.
Niners Seahawks game. I
That's right.
watched the Chiefs. Uh,
Who was it? The Chiefs?
somebody.
Yeah, crushing somebody probably.
It was so irritating. Like Patrick Mahomes is just too good, and someone needs to pull a Tanya Harding on him. You know, he's so
Why?
fucking good.
Why?
Why?
Why? Pull a Tanya Harding. Oh God damn it. And everybody, if you have a real problem with that, please write us at at
If that's the
gmail.com.
only
And
problem, if that's the only problem you have with this podcast, I would say your priorities are probably misplaced. But I
that
mean,
and
he's
go
so
suck a dick.
good. He's so good.
Yeah.
And their team is so well coached. Like that's
Yeah.
the thing about the Chiefs. Remember, the Chiefs were really good with what's his name, Smith as quarterback. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he's not the best quarterback. Doesn't have a great arm. Not terribly accurate past like 10, 15 yards. The
Right.
Chiefs were a really good team with him at the helm.
Hmm.
Then they get
Hmm.
Mahomes, who is a very good quarterback. And now
In
you
many
see,
ways.
off to the races. But
Yeah.
and then I did watch the Niners. Uh, uh, the
Niners
fuck
lose
is
to LA.
the fucking Rams?
Oh yeah, they lost to LA. I was like, yeah, did you see? That's the one you saw.
Well, so I called my father as a Bengals fan, and I'm like, let's do
Right.
this again. Let's run this back again. You know, and we were talking right before kickoff, and I was like, we're doing this, and so we're
All
just
the
having
way.
fun. And then I'm like, okay, we're doing pretty good. Not too bad, like
Yeah.
not great, but this is 49ers football, right? They don't
Right.
blow
Right.
people out. They play close
Right. Right.
games
Right.
that,
Right. And then they
they
come.
somehow, the defense comes up with a stop when it needs to. And, we kick a field goal and
Exactly.
win. That's how they won. And uh, then they didn't do that and they lost.
Yeah.
And I was
Ram.
so depressed for like about an hour and a half. And I was just like, because my wife had gone to bed and then she woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and she's like, who won? And I was like, they lost. And I just the tone of my voice, and I just rolled over and
Yeah.
went back to sleep. And then I woke up the next day and I was just like, oh, they lost. And I was like, oh, whatever. And I
Yeah.
just went on with my day. And
Yeah. That's how it happened for me too when the Raiders got bounced out by the Bengals. Yeah. For a while. Yeah. Like an hour after the game, yeah, I was kind of like, damn, oh, damn, yeah. And then, and
it was like,
then I was like, oh well, let me crack over some whiskey. I'll be okay. It's
yeah,
I want to do all today. Goddamn, it's fine.
yeah. Ultimately,
I
it is.
remember when it used to be like how those teams used to just get each of us down, like be mad for like half the week and shit.
I can remember I was on vacation in Hawaii, and this is when I was still straddling the fence between the Yankees and the Giants.
Yeah.
And the Yankees were in first place by so much. And then they went on like a 20-game losing streak, and the playoffs were coming up. And I was so concerned that I was in Hawaii on vacation, and it just consumed me. Like I was just like, "What did they win? No, they lost again today." I religiously, because this is before phones, so I'd go
Right.
down
Right.
and buy
Right.
the paper or go down to the one of the hotel bars, and watch some of
Always.
the game. I'm in Hawaii with a pretty
Yeah.
girl. Like we should be like snorkeling, having sex, and getting
Yeah.
drunk.
That's
But
what
I'm
I'm
just
saying.
like thinking about
Yeah.
the Yankees, watching the Yankee games, moping around, and I'm just like, what is like? I look back because
Yeah.
they won the World Series that year,
Yeah, that's right.
And I look back after that, they won it, and then like a day or two later, I was like, you dipshit, you ruined your fucking vacation with a beautiful girl in
Uh-huh.
Hawaii thinking about a baseball team.
There you go.
Like a
Mm.
baseball team. The most
What an
boring
eye-opening
sport,
experience.
the most boring sport next to billiards.
Oof, oof, oof.
You know, I mean,
Yeah, billiards is pretty boring.
let's
Yeah.
let's face it. Like, golf has just as much action as baseball does.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm hoping that somebody gets hit with the golf ball. Please get him. Please hit him. Or please let somebody get him. It's always funny when you see somebody laid out on the ground because the ball hit him in the head or something.
Of course, that's what you think about. Of course.
Yeah. And then you get the ball signed by the golfer. Yeah, I'm like, fuck that shit. Lump in my head hurts.
Yeah, that motherfucker. Now he's one of those people who got hurt. Now he's going bankrupt. His wife's divorcing him.
Yeah,
He's losing the house, the car, the kids. Then he starts
everything.
believing in QAnon and storms the Capitol on January 6th. All because
And
of a
now he has
golf ball.
a home again. And now he has a home again in
Yeah,
prison.
it's called prison.
He's got
It's
prison.
called fucking prison.
Oh, oh shit! Yeah, all from a golf ball. Goddamn it! All from a golf ball.
Man, the the one thing that uh, uh, has kind of became more apparent the older I get is just how quickly life can change, situations can change in a fucking heartbeat. Like it's really that quick, and you're just like, you know,
Mhm.
you gotta like step correctly in life. There ain't no half stepping. Like Big Mac says, you cannot half step. You
Cannot.
cannot.
It's all in or nothing, baby.
No,
Goddamn it! That's how you do
that's the only way you can do anything in life.
it. Exactly. And like you said, it could change in a minute. I mean, a minute is, I mean, like what happened with my father-in-law. I mean, it was basically a minute. Like he was breathing, we're sitting there, changing him, helping him get ready. And then next thing you know, the people that were there, she was like, hey, I don't think he's breathing anymore. I mean, like
Yeah.
it wasn't even a minute. It changed that quickly. And then of course we knew that was coming, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, it changes, like you said, like that quick, like it just boom, it changes the
Well,
script. Boom.
and that kind of disease,
Hmm.
and a lot of similarities can be drawn to it. Uh, so it had Alzheimer's. Just for people who, if you don't fucking know, that means you haven't listened to a goddamn podcast in a really long time.
Exactly. Suck a dick, motherfuckers. Get back out there and go listen to it.
But um, like a lot of mental illnesses, schizophrenia, whatever. Like
Yes.
the country, the healthcare system, the apparatus of healthcare makes it so difficult to get the kind of care that you need for these people. And if you can
Mhm.
get it, it's prohibitively expensive. Like
Oh,
it's
yes.
so outrageously expensive, or you've got to go through the court system, or you've got to do X, Y, and Z. You got to take them out of state. You got to sell your house so
Mm.
that they can't come and get it when they die, because they will.
Yes. Oh, yes, 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 yes. We've been talking about that through this whole podcast. They will come, and that's what we keep saying. They will put a lien on your house.
They
That's
will
what's so
take it.
interesting about about their
You're
medical
you.
community. It's like
It's
they
like
do come for their money.
it's like Repo Man. Like you leave your house and come back and it's gone.
It's gone. Yeah,
It's gone.
you don't even own the dirt that it was on. That it was
Oh my
sitting on.
God.
It's true. You see it, and we've talked about it even through this one. It's, I tell people, it's like what you're saving for. You're not saving for. They lie to you. They say you're saving for your retirement. No, you're saving for your fucking medical payments. That's what
Yeah.
the fuck you're saving yourself for, because even just having the insurance that I get, that you have, blah, 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 it's still the bare minimum of assistance they give you. I mean, like you have an older like parent or whatever, they go into one of the facilities, and it's 8 patients to 1 nurse, right? And it shouldn't be that way, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And the thing is that it's legal that they can do that. So then they're already purposely understaffing the
Yeah.
place because
Yep.
it's the rules and this, and you're not getting what you're barely getting what you pay for, barely, and you're only paying for shitty service.
Dude, I mean, being in the throes of the healthcare system this past year, I can 100% attest to that. Trying to get the care you need for yourself or for your kid, like even like me, I don't take shit, like
Right.
I don't take it. My wife doesn't take it.
Nope.
And we're smart people. We're articulate. We're it's not like some people would just be like, oh, well, you can't get that. And people are like, oh, okay. No, I'm still knocking on that door. I'm going to get what I need.
Yep.
And like, I had an instance for myself when I had my emergency surgery that I was on an IV and like I couldn't eat any foods or drink
Right.
any water, not even ice chips.
Mm.
And I told one of the nurses, I was like, hey, I have a headache and I haven't peed in a really long time. That
Ooh.
IV is not dripping fast enough. And she looks at me and then she's like, well, you're getting a pint every 24 hours. And I was like, does a pint every 24 hours sound like enough? And
Yeah.
she was like, no, I guess not. And I was just like, what? Like, you didn't think about this? And I was like, please turn it up. She said, okay. She turned it up.
Yeah.
Next nurse comes in, changes the bag, goes back down again. And I'm like, Buzz, hey, why is this dripping so slowly? This is the only thing my body is getting right now.
Right.
Oh, well, that's the way the doctor said it. And I was like, do the math. Does it sound right to you? She's like, no, actually, you should probably get more. I'll go ask the head nurse. Head nurse comes in, yes, we'll give you more.
Yeah.
Now the next nurse comes in.
Yep.
Same
Exactly.
thing. And I'm like, I had to do this. I'm deathly ill. Like I'm recovering from death's door. I got 1.5 feet of my small intestine taken out. I've been cut from my crotch to past my belly button.
Oh.
Like
Yeah.
I am sick. I'm shitting blood like every fucking 20 minutes.
Oh my God. My story was funnier.
This is what I had to do for myself, because
Right.
they don't let it's now in the age of COVID. They don't let people come in and visit you. They don't let your wife come in and like advocate for you. You're on death's door, shitting blood.
Yeah.
And I have to argue with the nurse and do math with the nurse to make sure I don't dehydrate and die. It's fucking crazy. It is fucking
I had
crazy.
to fight for it. They were slowly killing me.
You got to fight for that right.
You do. You gotta take it from the Beastie Boys, goddammit. You got to fight for it, goddamn. I mean, you do. And it's funny, too, because we had the same thing with my father-in-law, as in, hey, he's supposed to get his food pureed. He can't shoot, so it's got to be pureed. I had to keep telling the next nurse, and even you're just like, hey, motherfuckers, could you write some shit down?
Yeah.
And if you are writing it down, could you fucking read the chart? Just read the goddamn chart.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what you ask them to do in the first place. Because even when I go in and they, I mean, we've talked about many times that, for me, it says in my medical chart, boom, if you got to give me extra doses of the fucking morphine. I mean, that's just how it is for me for the pain. And that's, again, like, I got to sit there and go, no, I need another one. You have to give me another one.
Yeah.
No, da-da-da. And then they start going through the whole thing about this. And then I'm like, go read the chart. Just read the chart. And as soon as they read the chart, then they come back. Oh, sorry, da-da-da. It's like,
Yeah.
And all I'm trying to do is stay out of fucking pain.
Yeah. Well, I know enough people in the medical profession, doctors, nurses,
Mhm.
other types of ancillary workers, and people in like, in South Dakota, there's a lot of very old people. So there's a lot of old people's homes. And I know people who work at these places. And to your
Mhm.
point of like purposely understaffing them is 100% correct. I was talking with a guy, a good friend of mine, who works at one, and he's just like, dude, there's like me for like 24 people who are like basically, they're in a nursing home. They need
Nursing
a
home. Yep.
lot of help. He's like, there was 24 people for, and on one me. Like, that should be fucking not illegal or regulatory or whatever. It should be criminal,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I mean,
And then he's
'cause-
like, I want to quit so bad, but like, what's going to happen to these people? Like,
see,
and the same, and then conversely, you see hospitals and healthcare chains, and sometimes due to their own regulations and sometimes due to state regulations, firing
yeah.
doctors and nurses and policemen and firemen and healthcare workers because they didn't get the
Mhm.
fucking vaccine, even though they already got fucking COVID. Like,
Exactly.
we've said it before a gazillion times on this podcast. Like, remember when they were like, what was the word that we used for them? They were, oh God, they're like essential workers, essential workers.
Essential workers. Right.
Now we're firing these motherfuckers. Like this whole trucker thing in Canada. Like, you're
Yeah.
making a truck driver get the fucking vaccine. He sits in a truck by himself all day.
Exactly. He doesn't
Yeah.
even get out now because of the COVID protocols. Everything is handless, paperless, this and that list. I mean, all he has to do is back up his truck, have him load it, and go.
Dude, I would encourage people. So at the top of the podcast, I was talking about some podcasts that I like to listen to, and one of them is called Breaking Points, also found on Spotify.
Mhm.
And I was listening to it this past week, and they were interviewing one of the guys who's kind of like the organizer of this trucker thing.
Right.
And he's saying so in Canada, they have a vaccine passport. It's an app on your phone that tells people da da da. And they're doing this in fucking California now too. Is that,
Yeah.
and he got to the border. He was trucking back from the United States to Canada. So he's coming back into Canada. He has a phone just for the passport because let's face it, he's kind of a little conspiratorial, right? Like, nobody
Right.
organizes a trucker thing that's just a completely normal, average guy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so,
Not a trucker boy.
so he has a separate burner phone just for that. It doesn't have a SIM
Damn.
card in it or anything. It's just connected to the Wi-Fi in his truck. So he gets up to customs, and then he's like, "Here, let me show you my vaccine thing." And they're like, "We don't need that. We saw you coming. We knew that you were here." And he's like, "How is it possible that from my phone with no SIM card, simply connected to Wi-Fi, tells you when and where and how I'm going and where I am? How is that possible? Extrapolate that shit out."
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's
No.
some fucking next level shit that
That
scares
is.
the fuck out of me. I mean,
It should.
I know that in California, it's not a mandatory thing that you have the state-run app, but a
Right.
lot of the healthcare providers like Kaiser and whatnot have an app that does the same thing, right? So what is Kaiser doing with that information? You went to Kentucky Fried Chicken? Oh no,
Yeah.
motherfucker, your premium's going up.
Yes.
You're going into the liquor
Yeah.
store. What did you buy there? Oh, we'll find out because your credit card is talking to your phone now.
Yes. Yes. You're absolutely right.
That's some fucking shit, man.
Well, we see it already, as in when I'm looking something up on Google or whatever, I'll look something up on the internet, and then I'll go on to Facebook or something, and then all of a sudden I'll start seeing ads for the thing that I just fucking looked up.
So, I mean, it's been there for a while. It's interesting that, people haven't really been talking about that part more and more, because it is. I mean, it's like, wait a minute. I was over here on this site that has nothing to do with Facebook, nothing. Like, how is it that as soon as I click in here, it knows where I have been, this and that? Yeah, that shit is scary beyond belief, beyond belief.
And
That, I mean, I make that joke about, hey, I want one of those old cars, the Blazer, just because it's an engine and a fucking battery. I mean, the only way they'd be able to find you is if you carried your phone.
dude,
Like nowadays,
so
all these cars nowadays, they know exactly where you are, this and that, like you said. I mean, the cops can actually call up the dealership and get them to fucking turn your car off if they're chasing you.
dude, all you have to do is look what CIA, ex-CIA, ex-high-level government operatives do. What do? They buy 1976 Land Cruisers,
Yeah.
and live in Idaho.
Yeah.
Without, like, all of them.
Yeah.
They don't drive a modern car at all.
No.
None of them do. What does that fucking tell you?
Exactly what I've been saying. Like, why I want an old fucking car? Just for, I mean, yes, all the new conveniences and hey, your lights are on, blah 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 blah. But still, I mean,
I'll
it's
tell you,
just
man,
something.
I'll tell you is that I fucking love my Ford Explorer, man. I've got a 2020 Ford Explorer, I think.
Yeah.
Holy shit. It is the best car. And I've had not nice cars. I've not like Maseratis
Right.
or shit. I've had some really good cars that I've really loved.
Right.
But this fucking Ford Explorer is the best car that I love it so much. The heated seats, they heat your butt perfectly.
I was going to say the hiney warmers.
And guess what? They also have seat coolers. So in the summertime, when it's a fucking 1,000 degrees because of global warming, I just turn on the seat coolers and bro, I am comfy AF. No more sweaty butt from a car ride. This thing, it's just got.
That's fucking great.
Except for the sunroof, which I'm still salty about, but this is a car that, yeah, if I'm running from the authorities, the cops are going to call up the Ford dealership and be like, hey, can you turn his car off? Sure. Beep.
Yeah.
And then it's going to go from my favorite car ever to my least favorite.
Yeah. That's the one they're going to pick you up in when you get out of jail.
Oh, man.
Talk about bittersweet welcome.
That would so burn. Oh, yeah. But, like, because it's conveniences, right? Like, think about, like, all the things that we willingly give up because of, like, this convenience thing. Like, so, like, take, for example, Facebook or social media, right? Like, we willingly give up the fact that they're tracking our location, that they're, saving our data and our pictures, everything that we take of our kids, all that, because they show us cool shit. Oh, well, there's that woman who can do the full-on front splits again for the 9,000th post, and you're like, well, man, fuck, that's awesome. All that convenience, that's just like convenience. Oh, well, I'm just going to get the Jimmy John's app and order my sandwiches and whatnot. Fuck, dude, we have the fucking,
that happened here.
App doing?
Dude,
all I have to do is call them. Hello, yes. Is this Jimmy John's? Yes. Can I get a turkey, bacon, avocado? Yes, you can. Okay. Thank you. That's all I had to do. I don't need your fucking app, but it's so convenient.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's so convenient that my eldest did it. Like I did. Like one day I'm like sitting here, somebody rang the doorbell. Am I going down? And they go up, and they ordered. Like from Grubhub or one of those places. I'm just like,
yeah.
What the hell? I mean, I was kind of happy because I wasn't asked to go anywhere.
Exactly. It was convenient for you.
You know, and or you know, the kids don't have to hear, Dad, can I go? Can you take me to go? No. You know, because and again, you know, for me now, when they're driving now, they just say, can I take myself to go here? I'm like, yeah, cool. Like they'll start to come like, Dad, I want to know if I can do this, and then afterwards, I'm like, whoa, wait. What are my criteria? Just tell me, what do I have to do? if I have to come pick you up, if I have to do something, I don't know. Let's see. Tell me what I need to do. If it's nothing, then hey, yeah, you can go.
Hey, so let me ask you a question. I'm gonna take a left turn really quick. Uh, um, remember
Left
Mary
turn
Kay
left side.
Letourneau?
Mary Kay Letourneau.
On this day in 1998, she went back to prison because she was still fucking her student.
Oh, the teacher. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we do the podcast, I like to look at what's going on in history on this day. And if at the end of the podcast, I can let you know. Usually, I don't say anything because it's just rando shit. But today, it's kind of it's a good one. But anyway, oh fuck, what the fuck was I about? Oh,
We're pivoting
so
left.
what's your opinion? Give me your honest fucking opinion. I decided last night I'm climbing Mount Everest. I'm gonna fucking do it.
You're gonna do it. You
What do you
goddamn,
think
you
about
go,
that?
motherfucker. I think it's a great idea, motherfucker. I think you should go and do it. Take lots of
Okay.
pictures. That's what
Okay.
I'm saying.
My family is very against it, like vehemently against it.
Why? Because you might
Like
die.
that's what they're that's their concern, dude. Well, my point is, it's not like I'm trying to. Okay, I'm not a mountaineer. First,
Right.
secondly,
Right.
it's not like I'm trying to climb, like K2 or Choyu or
Right.
one of the like really technical climbs.
Right.
Climbing Mount Everest, where you just kind of keep walking.
Walking straight
You
up.
just wait in
Yeah.
line and walk. That's all you do.
That's what I heard they've been doing. Yeah. And then pass by the frozen dead body.
Yeah. Take a selfie. I'll fucking take a selfie
Please.
with that for the podcast.
Please,
Deuces.
motherfucker. Yeah, deuces, bitches. And this was the last selfie that Joshua Sitrek ever took. He was. So when are you going to start training for it? When are you going to start putting all the stuff together?
It costs, I think, $35,000.
I'm never climbing Everest.
So, do you have any money I can borrow? Like how?
That's why they're against it.
Well, I think that unlike in your family, my family actually loves me and wants me around. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong. What the fuck was I going to say? Oh,
I guess
I like how many? What would you have to do to get that money? $35,000. Like,
a few
because
dirty
if you
things.
have $35,000 that you have to spend on that, that means you've got hundreds of thousands of dollars to do all this other stuff, and then you got to Mount Everest, because Mount Everest isn't the. Remember the or the connect the dots. You'd go from like A to B to C, and you draw a parrot or something. Like,
yeah.
Climbing Mount Everest isn't in the first 12 letters of the alphabet, right? Like, we're going way deep. We're like at U, V, W, I just bought a jet.
I woke up like this in a jet. Hey.
So
Oh,
how do
uh,
I get to the point where I'm fly like a G6, and then and
land,
and
get picked
then
up by an Aston Martin.
I'm, and I'm paying 12 Sherpas to carry me up a mountain
You're just gonna say,
because
yeah, I would be. Yeah, you pay. Have a Sherpa lump your ass all the way up to the top. Keeping them out of the selfie frame each time. Look what I just did. I just did another kilometer up the mountain. Oh, hey.
and then behind me there's like just an army of people.
Like, yeah, you ready to take this fat son of a bitch up the hill? Come on, let's go. That's hilarious. I was carried up Mount Everest. I could see somebody doing that and doing a whole documentary just on the person, not the people that had to lift them and carry them up the mountains and, how many family members they got and da da da.
Well, so the reason why this came up is that I am a incredibly avid consumer of mountaineering,
Mhm.
movies, documentaries, videos. I follow a lot of like the top climbers in the world.
Right.
I'm very, very interested in it. And so I'm like, fuck, why am I so interested in it? I don't know. Like, why am I interested in it? I've never been like, I like to go hiking. Hiking's fine, but it's
Right.
not like, I'm not like, fuck, let's get up at 5 in the morning and go hiking, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you can suck a dick on that one, boy.
yeah, I mean, I'm more interested in, hey, let's go hike up here because this is a secret spot where I caught this big fish this one time on the stream, and or
Exactly.
hey, there's this gorgeous view. We can like get in some hot springs, and whatever.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
like
Yep.
is destination based hiking, like.
But nothing like this destination.
But last night,
Uh,
I just made the decision.
nice.
I'm
Nice.
going to
I
climb
like
Mount
that.
Everest.
You're the client. So now you're going to start doing your training and stuff now too. Then
Well, I mean, I'm already in pretty good shape. I can't lie.
pretty good. True, but don't you have to work on your breathing and all that? Isn't the air thin?
Oh, the air's thin as fuck. And guess what? I'm not doing it with oxygen. I'm not going to do
What?
it with. I'm going to do it unassisted.
Nice, nice, nice. Look at you going old
So
school, huh?
I'm going. I'm going 100% legit on that. Like, no oxygen. I'll have the
Damn.
Sherpas, but I promise to pay them a living wage for
Oh,
anybody who's you know.
mm.
Uh,
I'm
uh,
wondering,
uh,
$15 an hour. You're saying? Okay, gotcha,
yep,
gotcha. Not
yep.
like three
I,
cents an hour.
I mean, some of these guys they make nothing. It's so terrible.
Right. And it costs so much to get there. That's the interesting part about it. I mean, well, not,
Yeah,
I'm just
well,
saying,
like I said,
if you're saying it
yeah,
costs about 30
$35,000.
to get there to do everything, to train, blah, blah, blah. And yet
Have
the Shippers
all the
don't get,
equipment. Yeah, they don't get that. They don't get that fucking money.
no, not at all. Oh, that's for damn sure. All right. And
Well,
then what's the time frame? Like, when are you going on the trip? Or do you have that even thought of yet?
I got a lot of irons in the fire. This week has been a week of big ideas for me.
Ah,
And I also actually need for this other idea, I need probably about $50,000. So if you have that lying around,
oh,
just
yeah, I got it in my pants pocket. Yeah.
Venmo it to me. This other
That's
idea
in my
is
other pocket.
a moneymaker, though. I'm telling you that. I'm not going to say
Okay.
it out
Okay.
loud. It's a
Oh,
fucking
don't
moneymaker.
keep it quiet.
Well,
Quiet.
Lou, we're running up about an hour and a half of us
Oh,
blathering on.
okay.
I
Okay.
only had enough vodka in the freezer for one drink.
Oh,
So that means that my drink is up, and I'm like Norm Macdonald, and I talk so much about liquor halfway through the podcast that
you
I'm
had to
gonna
get
need
you
another
another.
drink. And then I'm gonna go downstairs and sit on the couch.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do
I might
too.
play
My
some
damn self.
Minecraft,
Ooh,
or I've been playing a lot of Minecraft lately. I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Go lately, because now all my kids are into Pokemon Go, and
I
so
bet.
it's fun. And at our other business,
Right?
there's so many like Pokemon things going on there, so the kids will play,
Love it.
there, and all the neighbor kids come over because they know that I like it. It's fucking kids, man. Like, I walk downstairs. Um, I've just been lazing around kind of uh, this weekend, right? Like
Right.
once I'm done with our small business, Saturday afternoons, I check
Right.
out for like a day and a half. Like I
Nothing wrong with
very
that.
seldom on social media. I'm not answering my
Right.
phone. Like I check out. I just
Mhm.
want to chill. I want to maybe grill. I want to
There you
maybe
go.
have a
Chill
couple of
grill.
beers, watch a few
Hmm.
movies, just spend time with my family and not leave the house. Because,
Exactly.
the way that my business is structured is that I'm the face of it, all this stuff.
Yep.
And I have to be
Yep.
out there shaking hands and, talking to people and, hobnobbing, which I like. I love that. But I
True.
also need time to just be
Just
recluse, shut in,
yeah.
you know. Uh,
Decompress,
yeah,
relax. Don't have to deal with any of these motherfuckers.
and
No, I hear you.
yeah, yeah, and so that's usually what I do on the weekends. Um, where am I going with this?
Um, I don't
Oh,
know.
so
You know,
guess what I'm going to do after this? Just that.
Chris,
That's where I'm going with this.
that's where you
I'm
going.
just going to relax. I'm going to sit down because tomorrow I'm going to get up and I'm going to fucking get after it. I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. I'm going to
Oh, you
work the
go.
fuck out, do some yoga,
Uh,
get in the sauna, take the kids to school, make them breakfast, and
ooh,
then take them to
there you
school.
go.
And then
Yep, there you
I'm
go.
getting after this shit. And I
You
hope you all
go.
do the same.
Please.
Have a
Please.
wonderful week. Lou, you know what they say.
Oh, you know what they say? They say, suck a dick, kiss an ass, motherfuckers with a side of Pug Mahone. I'm going to do the same as you. I'm going to go sit down, relax, and pop this flask open and
send,
sip away, goddammit.
send some liquor. Is that flask turns whiskey green, though?
Does it?
I don't know. All right, man.
My
Suck a dick.
whiskeys never look great. Kiss an ass, motherfucker. Suck it.